people around, and the situation got a little heavy, but fortunately, Axe is very psychically connected with me and has always responded and used her training to bring me out of it. Axe has saved my tail on quite a few times from that.
Wow, that's did you know, okay, wait a minute. Before I ask this question, let me get back to that first part of that question from Joshua. He says he's curious to hear your perspective on the ongoing grassroots ET engagement. And all I can say on that is I think he may be referring to some of these events that are happening, and whether you want to call that grassroots or not, I think you and I have our own opinion on that. But he's obviously wanting to know what your perspective is on the ongoing grassroots ET engagement.
Is he talking about like more of an awakening, like an ascension of the psyche with the good ETs?
I'm gonna. I don't know what he's referring to.
Let's just say that that's what he's. Let's say that that's what he's referring to.
Okay.
Because there is no such thing as grassroots ET engagement with the global elite. They've been well established for a very long time. But
I think he's talking about these events that are going on, like Project Camelot had, and like the alien event that we had talked about, you know, and which I think really a grassroots movement was more towards Camelot than what's going on now. I have my different opinions as
you know, it's a prime example of a grassroots project, and it's probably it's absolutely, in my opinion, the most important one of its nature that's happening, and that is the Great Gathering.
Yes,
Miriam Delicato. And for those who will listen to this when it's streamed, go to bluestarprophecy.com, go to thegreatgathering.com, and look at that information, because what Miriam, .org, because what Miriam is doing is extremely important, extremely crucial. I can't emphasize enough that the work that Miriam is doing is so important. In my opinion,
even trying to get on board with that. I mean, you've joined our meetup group here on Central California. We have, and I'm meeting with the Northern California meetup group this weekend after I hopefully meet with you down in LA. But we need to get some of those things going on our own, and that is a grassroots level. We're not asking for nothing. We're putting out everything we got, and we're offering, you know, just to help.
That's the important thing. See, these conferences, and I don't, you know what, I'm going to say this because, and I don't really care who I make angry. It doesn't matter. I make lots of people angry. These conferences where people are charging $300 for 2 days sickens me.
Or $40
now,
to do it.
I understand.
To do it on whatever you call the
well,
video.
let's just talk in general. Let's not focus on anything particular, but I know what you're saying because I saw that. Now I understand that these whistleblowers, you know, obviously some of them, you know, ask for money, and that's fine. I understand that. And things do cost money, but I know through my training and things that I can do that these kind of events can be put on on a good level, and where you don't have to. That does not offer the people, especially in today's economy, to get to that. That, in my opinion, is more of a elite type of an event that can occur when these certain kinds of conferences occur. And I myself, I won't be part of that. I would rather stand on a street corner or sit at a coffee shop and invite anybody to come and sit with me where we can share information. And, you know, anybody that listens to this, if they're in the Los Angeles area and they want to come and meet with me, they can. And I will share. I just did that when I was in another state. I happened to have someone on Facebook email me. This lady just happened to be in the same town I was in. So I went for an hour and a half. I went and talked with her for an hour and a half just because I could.
That's what I love about Meetup.com. Anybody out there in any town, anywhere, the same with Facebook, but with Meetup, you can meet at a coffee shop. You can hold these little meetings with, real people who can afford to go to a coffee shop. Not many people can afford to go to a coffee shop. But when you talk about, prices that are outrageous, again, that's like for an elite group of people who make a certain amount of money per year and have the ability to leave work and take a weekend off. Like for me, I work weekends, but I don't know about other people. But, whatever. We know the situation.
And you also have to consider, in a larger scale, that a conference like that costs more than that. Because you also have gas money, you have to pay for food, you have to get a hotel room.
Yeah, traveling, definitely. Yeah.
Traveling. In the end, you've spent probably twice that.
Right, whereas you and I have been to a conference that cost less than half of that, and it was a big facility, and a lot of people were able to be there, and everything went smoothly, and they basically made back the money that they put into it, which is all they asked for.
Project Camelot's Awaken Aware Conference was magnificent. It was such a great conference, and I was reunited with Dave Corso, Duncan O'Finian, and Axe.
That was my next question.
Met a bunch of other people that I'm in constant contact with. It's amazing if I just open up my cell phone and look through my numbers of the amount of contacts I have of whistleblowers and other people, that I can just call up at any given time and talk with. I'm very fortunate to have that.
Event. Definitely. I have the same contacts because of that event. Not maybe the same contacts you have, but I have a lot of contacts because of that event. And what I was going to ask you earlier was, meeting Axe there, was that something for you that was, like, unexpected?
Yeah, you could say that. It was very unexpected. I mean, when I first saw Duncan and Dave's Project Camelot interview, I about fell out of my chair. I literally broke into a cold sweat, had a hard time breathing, flashes of things were coming before me, and then it just hit me, and I said, oh my God, I know those two guys.
Wow. I know,
Dave
I know what you're saying, man.
Dave Corso's actually known me for many, many years. Dave Corso's role in my life was he is labeled as a coordinator. Now, Dave was in Black Ops, and he was what's labeled as a pre-generation super soldier. He was in the pre-generation program that was really the gateway for what then Duncan and myself and Axe all became part of, because Axe was in the super soldier program, but her training was based on what her abilities were. Dave was brought to me when I was at a younger age and helped train me in a lot of different things, but his main role, because of his vast experience with the black operations, was to assist me in coordinating missions that I went on. That's my connection with Dave. He was down in the Caribbean with me on multiple different missions, as well as Duncan in St. Thomas and even in Venezuela. So, Duncan and I were on a couple of missions together as well.
What I find is interesting is I got no crazy stories. Like, I mean, I have a great imagination, but it's not like I'm trying to, what I'm trying to say here is when I watched Duncan's video as well, I got that same feeling. I didn't get these hives and sweats and everything going on, but I looked at him and I looked like, there's no possible way I can know this guy, but I know what he's saying is the truth, and I know it's true, and it resonates with me, and I need to learn more about him and who he is. And then I happened to watch Dave in the video as well, and that was my purpose for coming to that event in L.A. was because I knew David Duncan would be there. I knew that Jordan Maxwell would be there. And those three people were, to me,